Do we have a live? Okay, live YouTube, live faceplant. All right. That light's too bright. That's too bright. He don't need a light. He's not working anyway, so why give him a light? Okay, ushers, do we have anybody in the back waiting to be brought down front? I hope they're not at the concession stand. Oh, God. I don't think the studio medical crew has enough stomach pumps. Well, this is interesting. Don't tell me there's no notifications. This is really strange tonight. No audience? It's telling me I'm live on both platforms. No studio audience. This is really strange. Ushers, is there not anybody back in the studio whatsoever? Did you open the doors to let the people in? Okay, Mrs. M is here. Bring her down front. Cedar VIP section. Come on. Didn't you open the studio doors? Where's the rest of our live audience? Ushers, look around. If you can't find our usual studio audience, drag anybody in and throw them in a seat. This is strange. No Ron. All right, Linda's here. Okay, bring Linda down, VIP section. Now look around. Kathy's got to be back there somewhere. Although Kathy might be at the ball game. I think she said there was a ball game tonight. Where's Ron? I thought for sure Ron would beat everybody in again tonight. Well, let's get started. Great anticipation, broadcasting from the basement storeroom of WDWL TV, we bring you the pride of the station. Oh, the grumpy old man, me, and idiot still is wearing his unfair to Vulture, so screw him. So, yeah, that's right. Kathy's at the ball game. That's right. That's right. So, how is everybody doing? Oh, all right. You know, Linda, my observation, I kind of think that Ron is kind of building up a lot of undue anxiety over this next treatment. I don't know. My opinion. You know him better than me. I'm just picking up on certain things he's said. I wish we'd have some rain. Holy shit. It was 95 today. With the humidity, they were saying it was like 108. I went out to run up for smokes, and I thought I was gonna fucking melt. You know, I look forward to the warmer temperatures, but not shit like this. Yeah, Linda, I'll tell you what, if he's got an 80% blockage, they open that up. He's going to feel wonderful. But I think he's worrying about it too much. He's been through a stint before. Now, I know, there's always some behind the scenes stuff that we don't want to think about, but just by things he's been saying, I think he's over worrying it. 93, but feels like 103. Well, when they said with the humidity, 105, I mean, I waited till the sun moved and the truck was in the shade because holy shit. How the other team's game, what the hell happened? Oh my God. Wow. Really? From which team or both? No, that's not good. Unsportsmanlike behavior. Come on, Jesus. Oh, really? And what are the umps doing? Looking the other way? Christ, they're leading by 7-0, and they're pulling a bunch of unsportsmanlike shit. Unbelievable. Let's hope they can catch up. Although that's a hell of a goddamn lead, man. Oh, that's going to be tough to pull out a win. This is going to be tough tonight. They're really going to have to show what they're made of tonight. Not to mention, they can show that other team that, hey, we play as a team and there's no I in team. And we're not going to pull no unsportsmanlike bullshit. They called the game. Well, 7-0. I would hope they would have called it for unsportsmanlike behavior. But yeah, that's a tough game to catch up from with that kind of lead. But it's their first loss. They did great up until tonight. You can't win every game. All right, Kathy, we'll be watching for you. It's only their first loss. I mean, up until tonight, those kids are kicking ass. I hope Ron is watching. I especially dug out the patriotic mic. Yeah, I remember when my son was in Little League. We had an umpire. Linda, his glasses were like the bottom of Coke bottles. And everything was a strike. Strike! Strike 2! Strike 3! And it got to be the point where, like, around the third inning, and it was 0-0, constant strikes, they ran that umpire right out of the park. Hey, Ron. I dug it out just for you. But if you're not feeling up to it, take it easy, buddy. Yeah, this is an extremely limited edition. Let me look. I think it's numbered here somewhere. I could have swore I saw numbers somewhere. Number 125 of 250. I knew it was a very limited edition. So this is the halfway point. 125 of 250. The MXL Patriot. Oh, oh, oh. As a matter of fact, I was at my buddy's house when he got it. He unwrapped it, opened the box, looked at it, closed the lid, put it in the shelf. Oh, I've got, hang on a minute. Even the damn ceiling fan on high isn't moving enough air. I'm sweating my ass off here. There. Now I can't see. Oh, gee, no wonder. Hang on. Okay, I can see now. Gee, 10 minutes before airtime, I had a power blip. It just went blip. Everything shut down. I'm like, wait a minute, 10 minutes? I was scrambling to get this damn computer rebooted and get everything typed in, and I was like, what? Never a dull moment. I ordered a couple of flags for the 4th of July. Now, I have my normal American flag. Then I've got one that is a blue line, which people will probably get pissed off at. Then I have one that is a blue line, red line for police and fire. And I wanted to order, they have one flag that's got every color for police, fire, security, dispatchers, out of stock. So I've been waiting, and every time I go to order, out of stock. I'm hoping, within the next week or so, to give it shipping time to get here. I figured one of two things. Either everybody jumped in and ordered that, or they didn't think it was going to be a big seller and they didn't order enough. Yeah, well, at least every flag that I order says made in USA. Because nothing pisses me off more than to see an American flag that says made in China. I thought I had them right here. Where the hell? I thought I had them flags right. All right, where'd my flags go? I thought I had them in here. I don't remember moving them. Oh, never mind. I know where they're at. Duh. They're hanging in the basement to get all the wrinkles out. I forgot I took them down there. But yeah, I've got the one blue line, which my neighbor will appreciate across the street because he's a retired detective. And then I've got the red line, blue line. And the multicolor is still out of stock. Oh, Linda, I do some of the stupidest shit. Now, I took them downstairs to get the wrinkles out. But doing stupid shit, I just don't know why. Although I'm not as bad as my buddy. He lost the TV remote, tore the living room apart, couldn't find it. His wife said, maybe you took it in the bedroom. Tore the bedroom apart. Couldn't find it. Then his wife went out in the kitchen. You know where the remote was? in the fridge. He went out to get a cold drink, had the remote in his hand, set the remote on the shelf in the fridge, took out the 2-liter, poured himself some pop, put the 2-liter back in, and shut the refrigerator door. I'm not that bad. But I have a bad habit of carrying things around and setting them down and forgetting where I set them. You put the remote in the fridge? I'm not that bad. Although I'll tell you, you're going to love this one. I have cargo shorts, okay? I got up to go get me a cold drink, put the remote in one of my pockets. Couldn't find the remote. Went out in the kitchen, looked around, no remote. Come back in the room, tore everything apart, no remote. I didn't find the remote until bedtime. When I went to empty my pockets on the dresser, and the remote was in my pocket. Had no idea where it was. Was in my goddamn pocket. And I didn't look because I usually have my cell phone in my pocket. The cell phone was on the end table. I felt something in my pocket. I thought it was my cell phone. It was the remote. The only remote that I hate is the remote for my new Samsung TV. It is a long, skinny thing. And you can't read the fucking buttons. It's about the size of a candy bar. Well, I never lose my cell phone. That's one thing I can say. I never lose the cell phone. And I've gotten into the habit now. I take inventory of the remotes before I watch TV and after. my Samsung remote is like two of these. Figure two of these. And that thin. Stupidest remote. Every other TV, I've got a hefty remote. A manly remote. Not this one. It's like this. Skinny, stupid fucking remote. And then, instead of, it has a little bar for the sound. Now, you would think one end is plus and the other end is minus. You know, like a rocker. No. It pushes up and down, not side to side. If you push on the right side, it mutes. If you push on the left side, it unmutes. If you want volume up, you push the bar up or you pull the bar down. Stupid! And then the buttons are so goddamn tiny. I hate that remote on that TV. I hate it. Well, I can't put AirTags on. I don't have iPhones. Blech. But I'm hydrating. Oh. I ran up to my little Indian store today to get smokes. I walked in and went blind. Overnight, they put in all brand new LED lighting. Holy shit. I told them I got to come in with sunglasses on. And if you stand too long, you'll get a fucking suntan. Holy Christ. Man, I don't know where they got those lights from, but oh man, are they bright. I told them, I said, you could shut half of these lights off and if the store would still be lit up enough. Although I'll tell you what, they are constantly making improvements to that store. That's one thing I can say. Man, that store hasn't looked that good in years. And they were telling me that in the back, they're getting all new coolers next month. So I I says to him, I says, oh, I guess you're here to stay, huh? He goes, oh yeah. Yeah, I'll tell you what, since they bought that place, they have really turned that store around. It's amazing. Not to mention, it's always spotless. I told them, I said, customers notice that stuff. They can see that, you're taking care of the place, renewing it. And I said, customers appreciate seeing that stuff happen. Like that idiot across the street. Oh my God. You walk in, the store is filthy, it's disorganized. How people shop there, I don't know. It's a pigsty. I said, you look at the two stores, and I don't know why people would go to that store. And I knew the original owners. Matter of fact, I grew up in that store. Ted and Marianne are rolling in their grave right now. Not to mention the house that they lived in and brought their kids up in, and their grandkids had a massive fire a couple months back. Burned it right to the roof. And all they've done was clear it out and board it up. I have the sneaking hunch they didn't have insurance. Because about now, they should be rebuilding that house. And I'm afraid they're going to tear it down. Because there's been no action whatsoever. After the fire, a crew came in, cleared the house out, boarded it up, and that's it. And being in the insurance, business, yeah, we covered it all. Now, I didn't do house fires, but I know if they found the root cause and it wasn't arson, the check would have been written already. They would have authorized construction. Yeah, Linda, like you say, I know that store from being a little kid. And Ted and Marianne, they're like the two brothers across the street. The store was spotless. They always did whatever upgrades they needed. Now you walk in there, it's an utter pigsty. I'd be afraid to buy anything in there. Of course, across the street, you got two Indian brothers. This store, some Middle Eastern. Mrs. M, they never proved it. But they thought Mayor White had people setting fire to them houses. They never proved it. But it was real strange. All the arson fires. It seemed like they no sooner boarded a house up and it went up in flames. Of course, that was, the drug seizures. They busted the drug houses, boarded them up, and then fire. Pardon me. Got an aardvark in my throat. Like I say, they never proved anything, but it was real strange. Oh, yeah. You're right. What better way to train your why go down to the fire training academy and set a training fire when you had a house to train the guys on, because you knew the city was going to tear it down and seize the property, so yeah. Like I say, they never proved it. But there was a lot of speculation going on. That and the Stokes years. Oh, yeah. Because my brother-in-law was on the fire department, and he trained as an arson investigator that way. As a matter of fact, people don't know. The men on the Cleveland Fire Department arson squad are like police officers. They carry guns, just like police detectives. If you're on the fire department arson squad, you're the equivalent of a police detective. And you get full training to carry that sidearm, which my sister hated. Oh, yeah. I remember those days, yeah. I had a friend whose car was stolen and recovered, and all they did was peel the column and took it for a joyride. And before they got it back, the tow yard punched the trunk and cleaned everything out. Because they had caught the towing company doing it. Oh, there was a lot of crooked bullshit going on. Remember Cleveland Now? When Stokes was in office? Donate to Cleveland Now. We're going to beautify the city and do all this shit. And then the Cleveland Now funds disappeared. And they had no idea where they went. And then when Stokes left office, they happened to find this mysterious safe in City Hall that no one knew about. Oh, there was a lot of crooked shit back in the day. And I'll tell you what, Leon Bibb's son isn't doing nothing for this city. He got voted in riding on his father's coattails, being, big news anchor. Hey, Ron, didn't the police do an inventory tow sheet? If those items were in the car before the towing company hooked it, it should have been on the tow sheet. And then it would have been up to the towing company to explain where those items went. Oh yeah, Mrs. M, we were right behind Detroit. Yeah, Cleveland was right behind Detroit. So, the police didn't do an inventory? See, I'm going by Cleveland. Before a car gets towed, the police have to do an inventory. And everything is listed on that tow sheet. And then the driver signs it, agreeing that all that stuff is in the car. And then if it disappears, it's on the towing company. Well, then you got corruptness right there. Mrs. M, what years were you living here? What years were you living here in Cleveland? Well, I worked for a towing company. Well, I just wonder if you were here when Cleveland was named an all-American city, when we had well over 1 million population. And then after that, Cleveland went in the sewer. Kathy's back. Boy, it's sad that ball game went that way. That is just sad. I mean, them losing, okay, you can't win every game. But for a bunch of unsportsmanlike bullshit to go on, that is sad. I'm trying to remember what year it was when Cleveland was named an all-American city. We had well over 1 million people in this city. And we've got half that now. Of course, we've got no industry left here whatsoever. Oh, good old Cleveland Stadium. Yeah. The goddamn urinals wouldn't drain. Piss all over the floor. If you weren't careful, you'd slip and fucking fall down. That old stadium was fucking disgusting. I'll look it up, Mrs. M, and see what years. But now, this city's crap. Well, if they didn't have enough players, how the hell did they get 7 runs? Jesus. Something strange about that game. Yeah, it should have been called. The game should have never been played. But at one time, this city had a population well over 1 million. And now I think we're barely hitting 600,000. Oh, bunch of sleepers. Uh-huh. They brought in a bunch of fucking sleepers. That game should have never been played. No. No. There should be a protest to the league. The coach should issue a protest. Bring in a bunch of sleepers. Right, Mrs. M. The coach should issue a protest to the league. That win should be taken away from that team. That was unfair. Well, I was here starting in 51. So I was around for all of them. Oh. But man, the industry we used to have in this city, and now we got nothing. And we could have had Mercedes and Toyota and Subaru. They all wanted to build plants. And the goddamn state wouldn't give them tax abatement. And they said, okay, we'll go somewhere else. And they did. They went down south. What? Oh, the coach better issue a protest. That's bullshit. Somebody needs to call that coach and tell him to issue a protest to the league. That is utter bullshit. That's okay, Kathy. You're allowed to be on your soapbox. You're allowed. We accept that here. Oh, I emailed Nomad today. He said he has been extremely busy at work. He said he hasn't forgot about us, but we're a little late for him. But he said he'll try to pop in sometime. Right, Linda. The coach needs to file a protest with the league. And that would be a protest they would win. That whole game was bullshit. Especially bringing in unregistered players. Wrong. Somebody needs to call that coach and tell him tomorrow morning, file an official protest. That game needs to be investigated. They're lucky I'm not there. No, that's right, Kathy. A shit show, and it needs to be protested. Give me the coach's number. I'll call him. Oh. Black water. Boo. Right, Linda. That game needs to be replayed properly. And a protest definitely needs to be filed with the league. And that league chairman, he'll look at that score. What? 7-0, then 14? Oh, something wrong here. Definitely not teaching good sportsmanship. Man. That umpire's lucky they didn't kill him. Totally sad. Totally sad. All it taught those kids is if you cheat, you win. Oh, they're lucky I'm not down there. Oh. Grumpy would have been all over that umpire like a new suit of clothes. Well, Kathy, at least your grandson's team knows that when they play like true sportsmen. Oh, I saw a good court case today. Where's my note? This guy got cited for driving without a license. Now, he drove for DoorDash, Instacart, Grubhub, and HelloFresh. He hasn't had a license for 6 years. Don't these outfits check? Driving for DoorDash, Instacart, Grubhub, and HelloFresh, and has not had a driver's license in over 6 years. Scary. Really scary. It just goes to show if you got a car and a warm body, they'll hire you. No background checks whatsoever. Yeah. DoorDash, Instacart, Grubhub, and HelloFresh. And not one bothered to ask him for a driver's license. It's scary to think how many other of these delivery drivers running around the United States don't have licenses. or insurance. They look back. This guy hadn't had car insurance in 10 years. And that's what he lost his license for. No insurance. That is scary. These are all nationwide companies. And even the judge couldn't believe it. Not one of these outfits bothered to ask for a driver's license, let alone car insurance. This guy is delivering for these companies. If he hits somebody, they're going to get sued. You know, Linda, there is one thing I have been bitching about in Ohio for years. I even talked to my congresswoman about it. When you go in to get your license plates, they give you a form. And the form said, yes, I have insurance. No, I don't. Well, everybody checks yes. The state does not verify. I think before you get your license plates, you need to show your insurance card. I have yet to see anybody check, oh, nope, I don't have insurance. Nope. And they don't verify. They give you the form, you check yes, you sign it, you hand it back. Here's your license plates. Have a nice day. New Hampshire doesn't require auto insurance? Well, that's scary. Jesus. I have never driven a vehicle that I didn't call Progressive first and say, hey, I just bought this. I cover it before I go anywhere. Well, in Ohio, they don't verify. You just check the box. Yes, I have insurance. Here you go. Here's your plates. I think you need to show a valid insurance certificate before they hand you those plates. They've already got your driver's license. You have to hand it to them. But they don't ask for insurance. Well, maybe a used car lot, not at a dealership. Although maybe rules are different down there. In Ohio, you're not allowed to take that car off the lot until you prove insurance. I know. I work for several car dealers. Uh-oh. And when I co-signed for my son's car, they asked, who's got the insurance? I said, well, I'm putting him on my policy. I called Progressive and then handed the phone to the car finance manager. And he verified before he would let us take that car off that lot. Yeah, the basically the deal was all done. And they said, what about insurance? I said, well, I'm going to put on my policy since I'm co-signer. And they said, well, we need you to call Progressive so we can verify. And I did. Here. But every state is different. Although, me personally, I would never drive a vehicle without insurance on it. Never. As a matter of fact, when I bought the shit box, it was a private sale. I showed the girl I bought it from. It's covered. Before I took it out of her driveway, I said, it's covered. Of course, that's me. I'm a stickler with insurance. I always have been. I have never in my life driven a car without insuring it first. But like I say, in Ohio, you don't have to show them nothing. Sign the form. Here. Yes, I have insurance. Here. Here's your license plate. Have a nice day. Where is it? Is it still here? Oh, I gotta show. Cables. I have a Nebraska dealer tag. Oh. Brand new. Nebraska dealer. I wouldn't dare put it on one of my vehicles, but there it is. I have a Nebraska dealer tag. Just one of the little trophies I picked up. You know, both of my vehicles are so old that if a headlight bulb burns out, they're total losses. I make sure I have good liability coverage on both of them. Because I know if I get in an accident, they're both junk. But I want that other person taken care of if it's my fault. Although it would be my luck. I get hit and they have no insurance. So I'm completely out of a vehicle. Of course, all they would give me would be junk price, but and what the hell could I buy for that? Nothing. But I make sure if I hit somebody, they're going to get taken care of. But I argued with my congresswoman till I was as blue as this microphone. I said, you can stand there and lie right to their faces and say, oh yeah, I have insurance. And she says to me, well, every now and then they do a random check. Big deal. They're going to catch what? 10, 15, 20 people when there's thousands without insurance? Oh, yeah. Rental vehicles, those are nightmares. Because the rental company, they don't want nothing to do with it. Sorry. I've seen more bullshit go on with rental cars and accidents. Because they don't want their rates to go up. So they don't want anything to do with an accident. Oh, nope, sorry. Oh, rental car companies, they'll find any way to squirrel out of an accident claim. And look how many court cases you see where kids get arrested for like fleeing and eluding and have an accident and they're in a rental car. God, that was this one court case I was watching. A guy was being chased. He was eluding in a rental. They estimated when he entered the intersection, he was doing 103, and he broadsided a car in the intersection and killed 5 young girls. And he was in a rental. I can't remember what state it was. They ended up, convicting him of 5 counts of vehicular manslaughter. Big deal. There's 5 young college girls deceased because of his ignorance. And you know the bullshit. They suspend a license for, say, 10 years or life, either one. The next day, they're driving. I think that's the disgusting thing. I don't know how many court cases I've seen where people have no license anymore, taken away, get into an accident. What are you doing driving? Well, they need to. I don't have an answer for it. But they need to do something. When someone no longer has a license, to keep him from getting behind a wheel. I wish I had an answer for it. But I think it's bullshit that you can injure somebody, lose your license, and the next day you're driving. There has to be a better system. There just has to. These people that get behind a wheel without a license is disgusting. I have no answer for it. But there's got to be a better system out there. And then they get caught driving without a license and they get a goddamn slap on the hands. I think they should have mandatory prison sentences. But even that won't stop them. They do their time, they get out of prison, and they're back behind a wheel. I wish I had an answer for it. There's just too much going on. Too much of this shit going on. You know, you and I make sure we do everything right. We renew our license on time. We keep insurance on our vehicles. We obey the traffic laws. And then some idiot runs into us with no insurance and no license, and he gets a fucking slap on the hands. And then they say, well, you have to pay restitution, which people never get. There was a woman the other day in Judge Stevens' court. She had been on probation for 10 years due to having an accident with no license and no insurance. And she was supposed to pay like $50,000 restitution. And in 10 years, she paid nothing. And nobody keeps track of this. If you're on probation and required to pay restitution, your probation agent should be checking on you monthly. And if you don't make a payment, revoked. Right, Kathy? It's a privilege. And when you sign your driver's license, it says right on there, property of the state. You don't own that license. You're basically renting it from the state. The state is saying, okay, we allow you to drive. But if you screw up, we can take that back. I remember, oh God, several years back, a guy lived down the street from my uncle. And he had an accident and didn't have insurance. And I remember my uncle telling me one day the state troopers showed up at his house, took his driver's license, and unbolted the license plates off his car and seized them. But I haven't seen shit like that go on in years. I don't even know if they do it anymore. Yeah, I remember my uncle saying, gee, you know Fred down the street? State troopers were here the other day. Took his license away from him and his license plates. Of course, you know, all right, he transfers the title to his wife. His wife goes and gets license plates in her name, and then he's driving again. So until he would get stopped, who knows? It's just that easy. The real load of bullshit. It really is. And who pays for it? You and I. Because rates keep going up and up and up. And it's due to shit like this. And, you know, your rates can go up because the city you live in might have a multitude of accidents. So the insurance companies claim this a hazard area, and they raise your rates. Bunch of crap. But you know what, Linda? Those two senators are trying to do the right thing. But until that bill would pass with a majority vote, it'll just die. It's very unfortunate, it really is. That's like here in Ohio, we have what they call e-check. You know, an emissions bullshit. Well, at one time, all 88 counties in Ohio had the e-check. Now, 6. Now, I think that's unfair. Why do 6 counties get penalized and the other 84 or 82, pardon me, I'm bad at math. Why do the other 82 counties not have to e-check in order to get your license plates? Oh, you hit the nail on the head, Linda. You hit the nail on the head. And it just gets worse. Year after year after year. Although the dishonesty and the corruptness goes back forever. Shit. There was corruption in Roman times. And over the years, it just got worse. You don't know what politician to vote for anymore. They all put on that goody two shoes face when they want your vote. Then once they get in office, oh, look at the graft I can lay my hands on. Oh, 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 oh. Any new politician is great the first year. Then they learn how to be corrupt. Oh. I'll take that money. Thank you. And the higher up in government they get, the worse they get. All our founding fathers are turning over in their graves. It's like I was watching Judge West today. And this guy comes up, before her, and he's wearing a t-shirt that says, "World's Greatest Farter." And Judge West said, "That's the best thing you could wear to court? You didn't have any other t-shirts in your closet?" And she said it right out. World's greatest farter, huh? Very appropriate. Especially when I'm considering whether to put you on probation or not. People have no respect. Court today is a big joke. You look at some of the clothing people wear to court. That was, oh God, who was the judge? Oh, Shackelford, there was a girl that came up before her. She was charged with shoplifting. And her midsection was hanging out. Of course, she was like, and Judge Shackelford gave her hell. It's the best thing you could wear. You're coming to court. You don't care what you look like. She says, I don't want to see your stomach hanging out over your slacks. But the girl didn't care. She was, I would never think of going to court in one of my obscene t-shirts. Or a t-shirt in general. But, you know, I'm old school. You dress appropriate. Not today. God, that was like a couple weeks ago. Judge Simpson court. Guys on Zoom. Now, you have the luxury of being on Zoom and not having to appear live. This guy was taking a shit. On Zoom court. And the sad thing is, nobody caught it. Because I know Judge Simpson would have gone ballistic. And we're in 2025, right? If I look at the calendar right, this is 2025. I am tired of hearing people that have COVID. Yeah, I think they're pushing their limits. I really do, Linda. They're really pushing it. There was a woman today, Judge Middleton's, mask. I think I have symptoms of COVID. Get fucking serious. All she was doing, she was trying to avoid coming to court. Matter of fact, Judge Simpson said, yeah, you didn't want to be here because you knew I might take you into custody. So she lucked out today. But she's got 30 days to serve on weekends. And he told her, you will serve 30 days. That's like, what's his name? Judge Dad. What's his name? Oh, God, I can't think of his name. They call him Judge Dad. Oh, God. Come on, somebody, save me. You know who I'm talking about. He's a Michigan court judge. They call him Judge Dad. Gray hair, glasses. Oh, I'm drawing a blank. I can see him. I can't think of his name. Because they call him Judge Dad because he kind of lectures people like a father. Oh, shit. Is it McMillan? That name ain't ringing a bell. Is that him, Judge McMillan? I don't know why it's not registering. There was a guy thought that bringing his 3-year-old daughter to court was going to get him out of jail time. And Judge McMillan said, go out in the hall and make some phone calls and have someone pick that baby up. And then come back in here. And he said, you better not leave. Well, about a half an hour later, the guy comes back in. He made arrangements. Someone picked the kid up. And Judge Dad gave him 90 days and took him away. Yeah, he thought, oh, you won't send me to jail. I got the baby here. You never heard him referred to Judge Dad? Oh, yeah. Because he'll literally lecture you like a father. I love watching him. I really do. Because he'll talk to you like a dad. And he's got the nickname Judge Dad. I love watching him. He is wonderful. But that guy thought he was going to get away with it. Oh, I could. Go call somebody to pick that kid up. And and then after they picked the kid up, Judge Dad gave him 90 days. Told the bailiff, take him away. Because when the guy walked into court, Judge McMillan went, don't pull that with me. No, you're not pulling that with me. Nope. Call somebody to pick that kid up. You ain't, no. Yeah, well, Ron, you wouldn't want to know how my parents lectured me. Although I mentioned it several times. Then everybody wonders why I'm seeing a shrink. I think I need to put a new flint in here. Yeah, that was funny. They call the case. The defense attorney walks up to the podium. And here's this guy. Baby in one arm, baby bottle in the other hand. Judge McMillan went, oh, no, you ain't pulling that. No. Call somebody to pick that kid up. We'll pass the case for now. And you better not leave. And the guy thought, okay, I'll bring the baby. I'll get sympathy. Not. That was funny. Oh, God, I loved it. And I've seen a lot of this. I have seen a lot of people, men, women, bring their kids. And judges, they see right through that shit. They call somebody to pick them kids up. Well, Linda, mine was usually a fist or a headlock. Depended on which parent. One was a semi-pro boxer. The other was a professional wrestler. Depended on which parent I pissed off. I wish I would have taken a picture of my shrink's face when I told him, well, my father was a Golden Gloves boxer, semi-pro, and my mother was a professional wrestler. And he just went, really? Yeah, really. And then the next 3 sessions, tell me that again. Really? Then he asked me the last session, do you have pictures? I said, well, my sister's got the albums. I'm trying to get pictures. I want to see them. Like he doubts me. Didn't every kid growing up have a boxer for a father and a wrestler for a mother? I guess not. Makes me kind of special. Uh-oh. I knew what a full Nelson was at 5 years old. I wish my sister would find those albums already. I'm tired of him asking me for pictures. Here. Is that proof now? I don't think he believes it. Although it is unbelievable. But yeah. In 1947, my father was a semi-professional Golden Gloves boxer. And in 1948, my mother went from semi-pro to professional wrestler and wrestled at the old Cleveland Arena. How do you like that for a set of parents? I never did get the story how they met. It had to be interesting. I can't see my father down at the Cleveland Arena going, oh, I want to marry that one. Maybe after one of her matches, he went backstage. Really? Do you have pictures? That had to be interesting. Wow. Not someone I would have screwed with. Although I didn't screw with either one of my parents either. They didn't need an excuse. It would be interesting seeing a picture. What do they show him, like bench pressing a Duesenberg or something? Oh, I gotta gargle that. Sigmund Freud. Vreit. Vart. I'll be gargling it. He wore a gladiator's outfit. Oh boy. I gotta see that. I gotta. I hope it's on Gargle. Really, Linda? So you understand what I mean. Golden Gloves was semi-pro. Not people you want to fuck with. Yeah, he could have turned pro. I don't know why he didn't. Maybe not enough money in it in the day. I don't know. Well, my sister has albums of both of them. My father fighting in the ring and having his Golden Gloves belt and all that, and then my mother album of her and the billboards they used to put up, tonight's feature. Oh, really? Plenty of pics. Cool. Oh, I'll be gargling that in the morning. We have a very diversified chat with relatives that were boxers and strongmen. Man, our families all had history. I don't know why when I mentioned that to my shrink, I got such a goofy look. Like they never heard of Golden Gloves boxers. That was what you wanted to achieve back in the day. Because it was very easy to turn professional. I don't know why he never did. Because I had heard stories how he loved to box and lost very few matches. Yeah, Ron, not to mention how they met, let alone got married, but I never heard the story. To this day, nobody knows because all the aunts and uncles are gone. I have no one to ask. And I never heard the story at home. Well, sometimes I think my father took too many hits to the head to use me as a punching bag. Well, that's the last of the H2O cocktail. So I think it's salad time. And I think it's that time. We know where, right here. Yeah, time flies when you're having fun. 2 hours and 19 minutes, hard to believe, isn't it? Although, we always have fun. And with that, everybody, have a wonderful rest of your evening. Thanks for being here, and we will see you again, and we'll meet right here. See ya!